So I've decided to do a modern take on the movie Citizen Kane. Um, as a summary, this movie was released in 1941. It was directed, produced, and co-written by Orson Welles, who also played as Charles Foster Kane. Um, this movie centers around a multimillionaire newspaper tycoon, Charles Foster Kane, who dies and utters the word rosebud. This left a huge mystery, and a reporter was assigned to track down people who worked and lived with Kane to find out the meaning of the word rosebud. The movie was filled with flashbacks and um, and just a lot of mysteries with its intention to unlock the riddle of the word rosebud. Now, a couple of changes that I would say would be made in the film is, of course, the film to be made in color. Nowadays, there's no films that do black and white anymore. So, in order to capture the audience's attention and relate it back to its um, modern filmmaking, it must be made in color. Another change that I would suggest is speed. Now, the speed of the movie is filled with a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of talking and flashbacks that brings back the idea of what that rosebud means. However, I just feel like the movie is slow, in my opinion, and in order to make it a lot more interesting, I would suggest speeding up the movie, making dialogue short and to the point, and um, would make the movie seem rather more urgent to find out why Rosebud is important. It's a good way to pull in the audience. Another change I would suggest is camera angles. Many of the camera angles, although was very revolutionary at the time, makes the actor seem taller and larger than life. Its awkward angles kind of make the actors speaking over us rather than speaking to us, to the audience, making the movie seem unrealistic and uninviting. If we change the way the camera angles are placed, making the actors seem normal size, so more of a straight view of them, it will invite the audience to participate in the movie. Another change that I would love to implement is camera focus. Much of the movie, the camera's movement is relied on the dialogue rather than focusing on the main characters of the scene. Most of the time we can see a wider view of the scene, but unless the whole scene is important to capture, I believe the audience should focus on the story rather than the moving extras. Unless, of course, we use these moving extras as a way of transitioning from scene to scene. However, although, like I said before, that a lot of these camera angles and camera movements were revolutionary at the time, now it just seems a little bit awkward um, kind of bland. But a way that we can make the movie more interesting is also adding different kinds of music. Um, as mentioned, um, as mentioned previously, music brings out emotion. Um, and in the movie, the music seems almost melodramatic, and I believe that as things start to get more dramatic and become sad in most cases, music should emulate those feelings, not downgrade these feelings. And also, the last change I would like to bring in is the ending. At the end of the movie, we find out that the word rosebud could possibly mean from the sled that he had as a little kid, which brought out a lot of ideas on the theme of loss of childhood, memories, human flaws. But I think what could make the movie even more interesting if the word rosebud was never revealed in the movie, this could offer more of an audience guess and check game, um, and their creativity starts to connect the pieces rather than we finish the connections to them. kind of like a plot twist. As for the actors that I've chosen to do George Clooney as Charles Foster Kane, Natalie Portman as Emily Monroe, Anne Hathaway as Susan Alexander, Bradley Cooper as Jebediah Leland, Gary Oldman as Jim Kane, and Jodie Foster as Mary Kane, Harrison Ford as Mr. Bernstein, Jeff Bridges as Walter Thatcher, Leonardo DiCaprio as Jimmy Thompson.